wide awake, Katy Perry playing right here on Kids FM 101.7. Check your time. It's 9 minutes past, actually 10 now, 10 minutes past 2 o'clock on the hour. And this is Kids FM 101.7. Over here, we play, we have fun, we also learn as we go along. And this is the segment of our show where, we look at people's imagination that has, brought about possibility, and where every child is reminded that their dreams are valid, they actually matter. And we also tell parents what they can do. We're not teaching you, not like we're the best, we don't know everything, but we try to encourage parents to, support the dreams of their children, encourage them. You might even be the dream spotter as much as you know. And we have somebody here in the studio who is truly special because of what she does and even much more. She's a woman who is making clothes. I tell you, Royals, I know fashion designers. I've met them. I mean, when you hear fashion designer, you think of people who make the clothes you wear, right? But I don't think I've ever met somebody who says, oh, I am a fashion educator. I don't think I've ever met someone like that. But I met Stephanie Nwobodo, and she is one. She actually positions herself like that. She says she's a fashion educator, and she's not just making clothes. I dare say that she's creating futures. And she's doing that with people as young as you and I. I'm so amazed. Now, let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Royals. Welcome to my palace, by the way. Her name is Stephanie Nwobodo. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Feta.
And thank you for coming on the show. This is the
me.
royal side of the radio.
I can see it. It's very royal. I feel very fancy.
Of
It's
course.
good to be here.
Of course.
Yes.
And now she is a fashion educator. She's a consultant. She's the founder of the Future Icons program. And it's a groundbreaking initiative that she's doing. And it's based in Paris, the fashion capital of the world, I dare say. But she's worked with a lot of people, top designers in Nigeria. She's even worked with a fashion designer who is a male fashion designer. And Stephanie knows how to make, male clothes. Like, she knows how to, so, like, say the word. I don't think I'm getting it right. She knows how to, menswear.
Yes.
Using the fashion terminology.
Yes.
Now, let's talk to you as a fashion educator.
Yes.
Why is Stephanie a fashion educator? She could just be a fashion designer. But why? I mean, I know you mean teaching fashion.
Yes.
Why?
Because why not? I mean, I have worked in this industry at least 12 years now, and I see the gap in the industry with the need to educate and empower, and many times I have found that fashion and creativity becomes something that people stumble upon at some point in their lives, and then they use it as a pathway, and they have to navigate it on their own. I'm like, why do we keep stumbling on something that is so beautiful and so rewarding, and because that has been my life's journey, and I received guidance and help, and encouragement from my family, from my mom. I am able to see how there is a need for this. Also, with the place, with where the industry is right now, children need to be engaged to equip them with the skills that they need when they get to the point where they're making choices for what I want to do with my life.
Now, let's circle back because I love talking about passion and how we can, I feel like that's the beginning of everything. I tell the Royals, I think that everything that we use today, even this bell, first started as a thought by someone, imagination, and then it came to life, and now we can use it. So we can use our passion to change the world, whether we like it or not. And you're doing exactly that. Now, let's circle back to when Stephanie was a little baby. And from baby, I mean like when you were 10, what did you want to be?
I was just very curious. Okay, actually, I thought I was going to be a dancer.
Oh.
Yes.
Can you still move?
I try my best. I can move, actually. And at some point, I thought I was going to work in theater. I wanted to be an actor, do Broadway performances, and all of that. But I just never followed that through. I was very active in literary and debating back in school and drama clubs, and all of that. So everyone thought it was a fantastic fit for me, with my career. But somehow we are here.
Somehow I want to know, because girl, you're on fire. Your fashion is amazing.
Thank you.
Your thought process, because I've spoken to Stephanie before here, so Royals note that. By the way, we're not talking to a child, we're talking to a woman, okay? always doing something amazing for children because she has a passion for them. We haven't even unpacked anything yet, but I think you know exactly where we are headed. But we'll come back and we'll talk some more. Stephanie has to tell us the beginning of being a fashion educator. She needs to tell us the children who are involved in this initiative of hers, how she's helping them to learn fashion, how fashion might just be the game changer for children who don't even know that it's going to be a thing for them. And you, as a parent, what you need to do to maybe, I don't know, get your child in something like this, or everything you simply need to know right here on the show. It's Kids FM 101.7. The time is 2:15. I am Feta the Princess. You can call me Princess Feta. And on the show, we have Stephanie Nwobodo, who is a fashion educator. Don't go anywhere. She's just a girl. Dare to dream, decide to do something about your dream, and don't forget that you're not too young or too old to make a difference in your world. Stephanie knows all about that. But there's a story behind every glory, and she's here to share that with us and tell us some more. So, Stephanie, so when you were 16 or 10, you wanted to be, I mean, your dreams evolved.
Yes.
It was first you wanting to be a dancer, then to go into theater, then later, at some point, you want to be a doctor?
That never happened
or
for
a
me,
lawyer.
actually. No, none of the
So
above.
how did you find fashion?
So like I have said, and I always say, I've been a curious person. I've always had a curious mind.
Yeah.
And it just took my mom noticing that I was curious about creating things. And when I was given the opportunity, I went on a visit with my aunt one of those days, and she went to try on an outfit she had made at the tailor's shop. And I accompanied her, and I saw what was going on there. And I remember going back home, and I said to my mom, I saw something today that I think I want to be a part of. We had that conversation, and, you know, we both went to meet the fashion designer, the tailor, and said, hey, my daughter wants to sign up for this thing. What does it take? And she said, this is what it takes. You know, you have to pay
How
this.
old were you at the time?
I think I was 15 because I was fresh out of high school.
Okay.
15, 16, I was just done with my exams, and I think I had written JAM. Actually, I was waiting for my JAM results to come out. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was where it started for me. And I did that. 1 year later, I went to school. I got my BSc in accounting. But then I still returned. Even after my NYC, I worked 2 years as a junior accountant. But then I started taking short courses in fashion. I started in Abuja. Then I moved to New York and did fashion school at the Fashion Institute of Technology. I worked with leading menswear brand in Africa, and yes, globally, Maya Tafu, now Atafu. I worked as an intern, then I became head of menswear at Atafu, and then started my own clothing line. And then in COVID, I transitioned and started educating and consulting. So,
all right.
Yes.
I wanted to tell us that story about how you got into Maya Tafu's, organization. It's a very powerful story because it took grits, some determination, some kind of audacity that, because I mean, it's menswear and you're a woman.
Yes.
And then you saw an opportunity to get in and you're like, I'm going. Tell us that story.
In fact, there was no opportunity to get in. I just knew what I wanted, and I knew who I wanted to work with, and I knew what I wanted to do. So as crazy as it sounded, I always said, I want to work with Maya Tafu. And, when I told people, they're like, that's very interesting and unusual, but why? So I learned women's wear, my first short course from the Fashion Academy Abuja. I learned women's wear, but I applied what I learned in women's wear and taught myself menswear.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to reach and just intern because that was what I wanted. So I called someone and called a couple of friends that I knew that knew him, and finally, a friend of mine, his name is Yoye Aduwo, shout out to Yoye. Yoye made a call to someone who is a very close mutual friend to both of them.
Yeah.
And in seconds, I got a number, and it's directly from Maya, and it says, ask her to call me by this time.
Okay.
So with Maya, I just kept calling him, and later on I found out that Maya knew what he was doing, and he just wanted to see how serious I was. So I'll call, and he'll say, okay, call me back by this time. Oh, call me by this time. And at all the times he said I should call, I kept calling. And then finally he said, okay, I'm going to be in the office by this time on Monday, show up. And I showed up, and I remember when I was done with my interview that day, they were ready for me to start.
Wow.
Yes. So I interned for some time, and I learned so much. And then when my internship was done, he said to me, I want you to head menswear. I actually thought he was crazy. But I am so thankful that my believed, he saw something that I didn't, and he believed in me enough and gave me the opportunity and the platform to actually, yes,
But Stephanie, it's amazing because we're not here because of that. I mean, it's part of the story,
yes,
but we're not even here because of what you did. It was
yes,
because you conceived an idea and
yes,
decided to go through with that idea. And that
absolutely,
idea is, it just came to you like, wait, I can actually teach children fashion.
yes,
I know that some parents go and enroll their children in like a tailoring academy or something, or put them like the apprenticeship thing that you went through. So
yes,
it's a normal thing. But this time around, you want to teach children fashion.
yes.
How did that idea come to you? What does it entail teaching children fashion? Is it cut and sew, or is it more than cut and sew? And why do you think they need to learn how to sew?
So
Of what benefit is it?
first of all, fashion is creativity. So the first thing that I realized was that, hey, I'm not even necessarily teaching them um, fashion from the start.
Okay.
I'm actually just helping them explore and unpack their creativity. And when I
So is
do
it more
that,
theory than practical, or
in the beginning,
yeah?
that's how we start. So we do this exercise that we create a mood board, and I allow them to express and tell their stories from wherever feels authentic from them, for them. So I tell them, tell me a story about a time in your life where you were very happy, you were very inspired, you were excited. As young as 6 or 7, they have stories to tell.
Wow.
And it helps them recount, and it helps them time travel,
Wow.
and it helps them express. So even in doing that, children that walk into the classroom and you can't tell, is this person shy, what kind of personality do they have, you begin to see them blossom and shine.
Wow.
Yes, because they are telling their stories. A powerful man is a man that is able to express himself and share his story. And so I believe that that's where it really begins from them, before we now go into more technical things like, oh, this is how you cut, this is how you design, this is why you design. So I help them understand that whatever it is you're doing, it has to come from a place that is authentically you, in a world where there are many voices speaking, in a world where there are many ideas. And I tell them this cuts across. It's not just limited to fashion. So yes, the medium that we use, the medium I use, is fashion, because it is a tool. But the message is that you can become and you can do anything you want to do and anything you want to be. Yes. So fashion is just a tool and a medium.
Awesome stuff. We want to come back and ask her why she believes we can be creators, because there is a particular saying in, especially, I don't think it's just in Africa, when we grow up. When we grow up happens to be like a time in our lives when things begin to unfold for us. It's like it's like a time, it's a time frame that we have to wait for things to begin to unfold. But Stephanie is saying catch them young. Tell them to go back to when they were. How does a kid even have memory? I'm shocked that a child can go back as when they were little in a happy place. You think children don't have thoughts, but Stephanie's helping us to unpack a lot of things here. Parents, there's something in here for you. She's going to tell us that, but she's spoken to me before. And if you listen to her from the very beginning, she said something about how her mom was the person who she went to confide in to say, I think I want to be a fashion designer. I want to learn how to make clothes. And her mom took her there and, decided to put her there so she can learn. So there's something for every single person. It's a family affair right here on Kids FM 101.7. There is no child without a family. And like I always say, no child just gets up and go. Behind every successful child, there is a supportive parent. And it might just be you if you're listening to the right conversation. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Here on Kids FM 101.7. If you check the time now, you see it's 2:38 on the clock. We are still on Kids FM 101.7. We are playing, having fun, and learning as we go along. And we have our guest still in the studio, Stephanie Nwobodo. She's a fashion educator, and she's doing this priceless thing for children where she's teaching them, fashion. But I wanted to ask a question. And the question is there supposed to be like a time mark for when children can actually come into their own? I'm talking about when they grow up. I mean, you always ask children, what do you want to be when you grow up? Why are we trying to make them grow up and become something when is it not too early? Plus, how does it even help them? Because I think we are filling their minds with too much knowledge. And you know how fickle these things can be, can easily lose.
Yes.
They can easily forget.
Yes.
So if we're teaching them fashion, and we are also teaching them how to go to school, read their books, which one should they focus on? Don't you think it's a little distracting for the children?
there was something you said about what do you want to be when you grow up, and
Yes.
I think that has plagued us as people for the longest time. Why are we waiting until we grow up? Like growing up is a destination, as opposed to what do you enjoy? What do you want to do? Um, how do you want to spend your, like, what do you want to spend your life? My mic. What do you want to spend your, is it good?
Yes. Okay. Now.
Okay, so what do you want to spend your life doing, as opposed to what do you want to be when you grow up? Because you're living life now.
Okay.
So what do you want to do every day? And then as the parent and the guardian, it is our responsibility to actually track and check and see, so we can help them navigate, and what you also said about waiting, or should there be a time mark for this? I find that with creative, whether it's hobbies or vocations or whatever it is, they actually help bring balance. So they help the children relax, and it conditions and primes them to be able to pour themselves into the heavy lifting academic work, science, technology, all of those things. So it is, I would always encourage and advocate for infusing and weaving in creative work alongside the technical academic work, because that way they're able to
Breathe.
yes, breathe and get the
Find the
idea
expression.
of
Okay.
resting while you're working. You find how you can rest while you're working. So you don't get to burn out. I think we've built a culture around working, 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 and then you get to the point where you're burning out. Yes. So you have to weave it in. Example, in Paris, in France, children don't go to school on Wednesdays, because Wednesday, which is midweek, is actually the time that they go and engage in their activities and clubs and sports and all of that. So they have their theater classes, ballet, gymnastics, swimming, judo. It's an actual activity that they plan. So
It's
Wednesdays
compulsory.
it's culture. So Wednesdays and
So
Saturdays.
these kids are skewed in one thing or the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, and then it's part of the school program. Yes, all through the year. It doesn't have to be at the end of the school year. Then we are trying to find something. Then it's harder to get them, immersed in it.
Okay.
So,
Oh, okay.
yes.
So let's also talk about the fact that, I mean, how what's the age bracket of children that you work with? Because when we hear children, I'm thinking maybe 2-3 years.
Yes.
2-3
So
years old.
in Paris, I work with kids from age of 3, from age 3 to 8 years old, and some older kids. In Nigeria, it's been from age 7 to 15. However, I have gotten 6-year-olds in my class, and sometimes
Boys and girls.
yes, boys and girls, and sometimes parents are like, I know that the entry age is 7, but my daughter is 5. I'm like, she's not even 6. Just don't worry.
Wow.
she's on her way to getting to the point where she can be admitted.
Hmm.
And also older kids. This summer I also had an 18-year-old, and because you're learning a skill that you haven't learned before, everyone is a beginner. So an adult would go into that program and get their own beginner's experience. Yes. So
Yeah. So you've worked with children in Nigeria and
yes,
Paris.
yes,
What have you noticed? Can you make comparison in terms of creativity, if you can?
yes.
What's one thing you can actually spot the difference or similarities, or are they just the same? Children are creative regardless, or something.
I think one thing that is the same in my experience with children is that they love to be rewarded and they love to be encouraged. Honestly, it's like a drug. Like they get very excited and they feed off of that energy of you are encouraging me and you're rewarding me. So my kids in Paris and Versailles, at the end of every class, I give them stickers, and it's like a whole event. They're like, maîtresse, maîtresse, gourmet. Everybody is looking for like the little stickers, but it's like the stamp of approval of you have done today's job and you did it well. So when I apply that into, or when I see that happening, even with my fashion summer camp, at the end of the camp, we have an end of season event. Last year it was a runway show,
Wow.
and this year it was a pop-up. So at the runway show, the kids showcased and they walked the runway with their designs. And they were so overjoyed, over the moon. The parents were so happy, actually seeing the things that they put in so much work to do come to life. And they actually wore it and talked about their process. It brings a certain kind of life into the work, and it's not just another thing I did to while away time. And then this year we had a pop-up. So the kids actually, part of the curriculum was for them to design, and they worked in teams and had projects. And when we were done, I worked with a factory that made small units of some of their designs, and then we had it for sale at a pop-up. And their parents, friends, and families came and bought. And one of the greatest joys and moments for me was seeing one of the kids, permit me to call her name Jessica. Jessica was pitching like no man's business.
How old is Jessica?
Jessica is 13. She was part of the tech trendy teens category because I broke it into different learning tracks. And Jessica was she became very strong and confident in the way that she sold her product. And I remember when we were doing the test run, I said, if someone walked up to you and said, I want to buy this thing that you've created, what are you going to say to them? And there was a long pause. I said, okay, let's go back to how we started. When you made your mood boards, what was the story? How do you make it a compelling story for the way it's compelling to you, the one that has the insight and vision? How do you sell it to me? What do you want to tell me? What was your thought process?
So you were teaching these children how to even think critically in the process.
Yes.
So it's a lot of work. They are concentrating on making the pieces. They have to go back, dig deep into their creativity, find a story, pitch it to people, marketing, negotiation, bargaining. It's a lot.
Yes, it is a lot, but that's where they fly, because remember, they are telling their story. Yes, other people have designed and people will keep designing, but you're teaching them to use their voice and build confidence at that age. It was amazing. Like,
what is this thing? What Future Icons Africa? That's what you call the
future fashion icon.
Okay, future fashion icon.
Yes.
That's what you call the initiative.
Yes.
And you have it with children from age 7 to 15.
Yes.
And they come and they make pieces. They learn. They actually understand the concept of fashion.
Yes.
And they can do something they can connect with.
Yes.
It is happening.
Yes.
And this is you. This is something that came to you because you felt, you know what? Children can do fashion too.
Yes.
I can catch them young, catch their minds.
Yes.
Now, what is also, before we take a break, because when we come back, we have to wrap up, but like, what is the thing that you would say, aside the fact that now they can bargain, they can do all, what is this thing that you can say fashion is helping children do now? Like the people you've worked with, aside all these things, what are the psychological, emotional ways that is shaping them?
Yes.
How?
So it's different things for all of them because they are all unique in their own ways, and they are, individuals, and they have their own learning needs, personalities are different and all of that. But it helps them become very expressive. And that is something that I believe should be preserved for children. And in our children, they become very expressive in the way that they create, in the way that they design, in the way that they, show up. And you hear their parents saying things like, my daughter is so confident now. Before she took your course, she didn't even know the difference between a needle and a thread, but now they enter problem solving mode. Oh, mommy, this thing is torn, let me sew it for you, I have a needle and thread. So it's different things. They have soft skills, they have problem solving, in the what's it called, they take initiative to become innovative, so it breaks a box that may consciously or unconsciously exist in their minds, and they realize there's nothing that can be thrown at me that I cannot tackle. I think that's what the most important thing is, because that has been a thread in my own journey.
Yes. So if you're out there, you're wondering, why don't we have more innovative children? Why don't we have more creative children? Well, somebody actually sat down and said, why don't we have this? And then decided to do something about it. And that's why we're having this whole conversation right here on Kids FM 101.7. When we come back, I'd like to know from Stephanie, I want to hear from her why parents should invest in creativity, especially that of their children. And I also want her to tell us what's next for future fashion icons, and to also tell us, why we should have passions, why we should invest in our passion, why we should follow our passion, what is in there for all of us. When we come back from this break, it's Kids FM 101.7. Now, when we come back, Royals, you can call in and show Stephanie Nwobodo some love if you want to, okay? Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. do you think parents should worry about investing in their children? Because I think a lot of parents make a case for it. They say, at the end of the day, this child's creative passion, whatever it is, might not even lead to a real career. So why should I do it? So what would you say to those parents? Why?
I mean, the first question is, what is a real career? And I think that life is happening to all of us in a way that we can see that times are changing, right? What we thought was the norm before is not necessarily what it is today. And what you want to do is you want to give your children as much options and possibilities, right? To know that anything is possible. I don't think when you think about it that way, you don't want to be a parent that stands in the way of your child's future. Yes, and because you never know, everyone comes to this world in their own unique way. You're there to guide, yes, and not necessarily to, force, but to guide and to give them some kind of leadership and help them.
Basically, just play your part.
Play your part,
right.
Yes.
So what is next for future fashion icons?
Future fashion icons is here to stay. Right now, the focus has been, this is the third edition that we just rounded up, and it's been just summer camps, but it's bigger than summer camps. We're looking at the possibility of partnering with educational institutions and organizations to have this as part of their curriculum, children's curriculum, all through the academic year. So we're open to partnerships, and those relationships that can help scale what we're doing and increase the reach. The immediate next thing we're doing is we're launching online courses, so people will be able to practice online and feed in the time between two summers. We have a fashion fair coming up next year in Easter. It's going to be a fashion summit for kids for 2 days, so it'll be fun, immersive, educative, a time where you sit with mentors in the industry, and all of that.
And they're all talking to kids.
And they're talking to kids, and kids are talking to their, fashion icons as well. So that's in the
Amazing.
works. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the plans at the moment. So
the Future Fashion has.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, children can learn fashion early.
Yes.
You've learned how. You've learned why. You've also heard it from the mouth of somebody who has a passion to see children educated in the area of fashion and to use fashion as a means to express themselves and to be a whole lot more than that. Now, this is you identifying a problem and deciding to, solve that problem. What do you think would happen if every single person had that, time to identify a problem, solve it, contribute to society? What do you think this world will be?
This world will be a much better place for everyone because you are automatically becoming your brother's keeper. That's what you're doing. You're actually seeing a problem. And I think in my own experience, because it was a problem I experienced, I knew that it's a valid existing problem, so I knew that there were more people like me. Yes, many times we downplay the things that we find because we feel like, oh, maybe it's just me, and we take ourselves for granted, so sometimes when you're able to break past that, as we say, seeing yourself finish and taking yourself for granted, you're able to identify that there are many other people like yourself that are probably experiencing the same thing and could use the help. And that's really where it becomes service. Yes, it's now more than you.
Okay.
Yes.
I can open the phone line for the next 1 minute for someone to just show some love to Stephanie Nwobodo. You want to call her 0201-271-0242, 0201-271-0243. WhatsApp is 090-8885-1864. You can quickly chat to me or call me so you can say hi to this amazing woman who is our spotlight today, who is encouraging us, motivating us in the area of our passion. Passion actually is the way, right?
Absolutely.
It's the way. Or just find that thing. And as a parent, you can actually be the one who spots that talent in your child. Yes. They might find it themselves, but when you do find it for them, you can help them to harness it. Let's take this one here before we call it a day on the show today. Hello. Good afternoon. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Toledo.
Okay. What is your name?
Precious.
Hi, Precious. Thank you for calling me. What do you have to say quickly? We have to go.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Precious. Hello. How are you?
Awesome. Hello. Good afternoon. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Joy.
Hi, Joy.
Hi,
Thank you for
Joy.
calling today.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
All right, what you have to say? Oh my God, that was network. But that's fine. We have to go right now.
Yes.
The time is 2:58 Lagos at 3 p.m. Of course, you know it's going to be time for the school bus drive. Principal Vaughn is here. And today, as I understand, is what a lot is happening. State History Monday. Be here for all of that. There's also game shows to be played. The fun never stops. Thank you so much, Stephanie Nwobodo,
Thank
for
you
coming on
so
the
much,
show.
Feta.
Great work you are doing. Keep
Thank
doing the
you.
amazing work you're doing. How can we
Thank
find
you.
you on social media,
You
though?
can find me. My personal Instagram is Miss Stephanie. You can find my work Instagram, the Future Fashion Icons, and you can also find Fashion Architecture, spells with a K, ARKITECTURE. So those are my handles. You can
Awesome.
find me.
But I think you should just search for Miss Stephanie.
Yes, MISSSTEFANY.
And I think from there you can find her other page. That's what I think.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
dare to dream, decide to do something about your dreams, and do not forget you're not too young or too old to make a difference in your world. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. I'll see you again tomorrow. The pickup show is here for you every weekday, Monday to what? To Friday. Now that I've thanked you, can I just leave the studio with dancing and thanking myself?
And you know who I want to thank? I want to thank me.